Bob. I'm what your mom and your uncles and all your friends down there in New Jersey would call your dad's crazy friend down in South Carolina. Your dad and I were pretty good friends, and in fact, we all lived pretty close together. Your dad, Ben, Eugene, and myself, and we had a lot of good times. Your dad and I would do a lot of things outdoors, and from fishing to mountain biking, cliff jumping, canoeing, you name it, we did it, and had a lot of good times. I don't need to tell you how good a guy your dad was. Everybody in your town and all your family and friends, I'm sure have told you. But when your dad and I first met, and even Ben McNeil, another guy we went to school with, we had to study pretty hard in chiropractic school, and the school would give us money so that we can pay for our living expenses and our food and our books, and so we can study hard and become chiropractors and make something of ourselves. And I typically would take that money and spend it on foolish things like I'd buy a boat, or I'd buy dirt bikes and things that we can all do things with and have a lot of fun with. But I'd always end up broke, and your dad and Ben would always end up and even Eugene would always end up loaning me money so I can eat, so I can put gas in my car so I can get to school. So I was a little bit more irresponsible and a little wild and crazy back in chiropractic school. And there's a couple stories we'll have to tell you when you get a little older. You have to ask your Uncle Christian and Joseph about the time we all went out in a boat and we got pulled over for water skiing on the wrong side of the lake, and that was fun. Your Uncle Christian there can tell you about the time I caught somebody breaking into your dad's neighbor's house. That was a pretty fun story. But one of the things I really enjoyed most about your dad, and one of the things that we did a lot together and we had a lot of fun with, was mountain biking. Man, we take mountain bikes. Your dad had a mountain bike, and I had an old mountain bike, and him and Ben and Eugene and I, we'd go down to the local mountain bike trails, and when your dad and I went mountain biking, man, somebody was coming back bleeding, mud in their ears. Somebody was getting hurt, and that's typically how it went. And I seen your dad fall a couple times, and man, I never thought he was going to get up, but he'd get up, he'd hear this little giggle, this little chuckle, this little laugh that he had, and he knew he was okay. And I remember one time, your dad and I stood there on top of a staircase in the middle of the woods, and Eugene and Ben came out with us, and they went home, and your dad and I sat there riding mountain bikes through the woods, and there's a staircase in the middle of the woods. And your dad and I looked at that thing for about 5 minutes and said, I bet you I can ride down that. And your dad said, nah, you can't ride down it. I said, yeah, I can, watch. So I got on the mountain bike and I went driving down the mountain, and I hit that staircase, and I got to 2 or 3 steps, man, and my bike flipped over, and I crashed, and I laid there on the steps, and your dad was sitting up there laughing his butt off at me. So I picked my bike up and I went up to the top of the hill, and your dad says, man, that was the dumbest thing I ever seen. He said, you were going way too slow. You didn't have a chance. He says, watch me, I'll show you how to do it. So here I thought he was telling me I was crazy for trying it. Your dad said, nah, he was just laughing because I did it the wrong way. So your dad backed up, man, and he started going so fast, and he hit this staircase. And man, I don't even think he went down 1 step. Man, he went head over heels before he even got to the steps. And he bounced down the stairs laying there. So he picked his bike up, and I can't even stand up. I'm laughing so damn hard. He gets to the top of the hill, and I said, man, I think we're just going way too fast. I think we got to go down slow, 1 step at a time, and stay on the back brakes. So he says, okay, let's try it that way. So if this wasn't enough, we're already bleeding. I can't feel my fingers. Your dad's got bruises on his face and dirt in his eyes, and so I get up and I start going real slow. I'm going step by step by step. I get halfway down, and that was it. My bike flipped over, my weight was forward, and I fell, and he's up there laughing at me. So he goes, well, maybe we can just ride down the hill next to the stairs, because it was a pretty steep hill, and it looked like fun. So your dad goes to the right of the steps, and there's all leaves and dirt, and he starts riding his bike down. And the leaves just wash out, and he falls, but he falls onto the steps, and he rolls all the way down the stairs. And I tell you what, man, that was funny. We laughed about that for a while. We couldn't walk straight for a good 3 or 4 days, but when we came back to the house, all the guys said, "What the hell did you guys do? We just left you 20 minutes ago." Well, they couldn't believe it. Well, actually, they did believe that we were trying to ride down a set of stairs on mountain bikes. Well, that was just one of the things that I had a lot of fun with your dad. We really like to get out there and mountain bike. And another story, man, I remember one time he put Ozzy on the bike. Now, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if Paul Jr., if you know who Ozzy is, but your dad had a dog, and we'd take Ozzy down to the mountain bike trails, and he'd run with us, and we'd ride bikes behind him. But the first time we took him, your dad thought it'd be funny or easier if he just tied Ozzy to the bike, and we'd ride our bikes from our house down the road to the trails. So he tied Ozzy to the bike, and then off we went. Well, Ozzy was a big dog, and he just starts running. Well, he pulled Paul right off the bike, man. The bike was going straight. Ozzy was pulling him. Ozzy makes a sharp left, and the bike goes this way, and your dad went flying off the bike to the right and landed right on the concrete on the sidewalk. Oh, man, that was funny. I never laughed so hard that day. I think I might have peed my pants. But your dad really enjoyed the outdoors. I have a ton of fishing stories. We'd go out fishing. I took that money the school gave us, and I bought a boat. And I didn't even have a truck that could pull the boat. So I relied on your dad, who had a Ford Explorer with a tow hitch. And that probably shouldn't even have been towing the boat either. But whenever your dad was free, we'd all jump in the boat and we'd go out water tubing or fishing. And we did that quite a few times. And quite a few times we got in trouble too. But I remember one time your dad and I went fishing. And we're on a lake where you couldn't use the gas motor. You had to use electric only. It was a big lake. And we get all the way out to the middle of the lake, and the motor dies. So there we are. We're sitting there. I got the floor pulled up, and I'm trying to wire things up and get the boat so it'll work. Because if we drop the big motor, we're going to get in trouble. They'll fine us $200. So I'm wiring things, and I'm biting wires, and your dad's laughing at me. He thought it was real funny. And it starts to rain. Okay, now we're in a rainstorm. It's thundering and it's lightning, and we're stuck out on the middle of a lake. And finally get it so it works, and the rain clears, and we're going to go fishing now. And your dad brought a tackle box, and he couldn't get the tackle box open. I don't know what happened, but it locked shut or something. And we got fishing poles, but we got no hooks and no worms or nothing. They're in his tackle box. And for some reason, he couldn't get it open. He had a knife. He was trying to wedge it and get it open. We couldn't even get it open. We ended up not even going fishing. We went back to the truck and we went home. But it was a lot of fun. Now